Report says we are at stage 6, paragraph page 487. Okay, and our last headword was video new word type of lesson. Okay,
Mhm.
let's start with revision. Ready?
Okay.
Here we go. What does the expression every now and again mean in Japanese? What does the expression every now and again mean in Japanese? The expression
The
every
expression
now and again
every now and again
means
means 時々 in
in
Japanese.
very good. Is it a good idea to give one's house a thorough cleaning from top to bottom every now and again? Is it a good idea to give one's house a thorough cleaning from top to bottom every now and again? Yes,
Yes,
it's a good
it's a
idea
good
to
idea
give one's
to
house
give one's
a
house
thorough
a
cleaning
thorough
from
cleaning
top to bottom
from top to
every
bottom
now and again.
every now and again.
Very good. What do you do with clothes that you no longer wear? What do you do with clothes that you no longer wear? I
Uh,
give away, throw away, or
uh,
sell.
uh, ourselves,
I sell clothes
ourselves
that
clothes
I no longer
that I
wear.
no longer wear.
Very good. What's an island? What's an island? An island
An
is a
island
piece of
is a
land
piece of land
completely surrounded
completely
by
surrounded
water.
by water.
Very good. Okay, name me some oceans. Name me some oceans, please. The names
The
of some
names of
oceans
some oceans
are the
are
Atlantic
the
Ocean,
Atlantic
the
Ocean,
Pacific
the
Ocean,
Pacific Ocean,
and the Indian
and
Ocean.
the Indian Ocean.
Very good. Do you prefer to watch films at home on DVD or at the cinema on the big screen? Do you prefer to watch films at home on DVD or at the cinema on the big screen? I prefer to
I
watch
prefer to
film
watch film
at
at big screen
at the
on
cinema
at the
on the
cinema
big
on
screen
the big
than
screen
at home
than at home
on
on
DVD.
DVD.
Yeah, we don't watch DVD anymore. Yeah,
Mhm.
live streaming, baby. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you buy CDs and DVDs more often in the shops or online? Do you buy CDs and DVDs more often in the shops or online? I buy
I
CDs
buy
and
CDs
DVDs
and
more
DVDs
often
more often online.
online. Very good. Is it bad for your eyes to look at a computer screen for too long? Is it bad for your eyes to look at a computer screen for too long? Yes or no?
Yes,
It's
it's
bad for
it's
my
bad
eyes
for my
to
eyes
look at a
to
computer
look at a
screen
computer
for
screen
too long.
for too long.
Very good. What does your country produce? What does your country produce? My country
My country
produces
produces produces cars.
cars. Very good. What kind of things do people often boast about? What kind of things do people often boast about? People often
People
boast
often
about
boast about
their jobs,
their jobs,
things that they
things
own,
that they own,
etc.
etc.
Very good. Is wearing a tie a necessity for some occupations these days? Is wearing a tie a necessity for some occupations these days? Yes,
Yes,
wearing a tie
wearing a tie
is a
is
necessity
a necessity
for some
for some
occupations these
occupations
days.
these days.
Very good. What's the most important difference between tell and say? What's the most important difference between tell and say? The most
The
important
most
difference
important difference
between tell and
between
say
tell and
is
say
that after
is that
tell,
after
we
tell
indicate the
we
person
indicate the
we
person
are speaking
we
to.
are speaking to,
But after say,
but after
we
say
usually do
we
not.
usually do not.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. She told him
It told him
that it was
that
important.
it was
She
important.
said it
It
was
said it
important.
was important.
Very good. After the verb say, how is it possible to indicate the person we are speaking to? After the verb say, how is it possible to indicate the person we are speaking to? After the verb
After
say,
the verb say,
it's possible
it's
to indicate
possible
the
to
person
indicate the
we
person
are speaking
we
to
are speaking
by
to
using the
by
word
using
to.
the words to.
Very good. For direct speech, which verb do we normally use? Say or tell. For direct speech, which verb do we normally use? Say or tell. For direct
For
speech,
direct
we
speech,
normally
we
use
normally
the verb
use
say.
the verb say.
Very good. Give me an example. Give me an example, please. He said,
He
I'm
said,
hungry.
I'm hungry.
Very good. Which of these sentences is correct? He told me to go away or he said me to go away. Which of these sentences is correct? He told me to go away or he said me to go away. the first
The
sentence.
person
He told
tense.
me to
He
go
told me
away
to go
is
away
correct.
is correct.
Very good. What are the three forms of rice? What are the three forms of rice? The three
The three
forms of
forms of
rice are
rise.
rice,
A
rose,
large
risen.
rose risen.
Have you ever risen before the sun has risen? Have you ever risen before the sun has risen? Yes or no?
Yes,
I've sometimes
I've
risen
sometimes risen
before the sun has
before
risen.
the sun has risen.
Very good. What's the difference between to earn and to gain? What's the difference between to earn and to gain? The difference
The
between
difference
to
between
earn and to
to
gain
earn and to
is that
gain
the
is
verb
that
to
the
earn
verb to earn
generally means
generally
to
means
receive money
to receive
for
money
work done,
for work done,
whereas the verb
whereas the
to
verb
gain
to
generally
gain
means
generally
to get
means
more of
to get
something.
more of something.
But if you bought a business for £4 million and sold it later for half that amount, would you be gaining by doing so? If you bought a business for £4 million and sold it later for half that amount, would you be gaining by doing so? No. If I
No,
bought a
if I bought
business
a business
for £4 million
for 4 million
and
pounds
sold it
and
later
sold it
for
later
half that
for
amount,
half the amount,
I wouldn't be
I
gaining
wouldn't
by
be
doing
gaining
so.
by doing so.
I'd be losing.
I'd be losing.
Wait, how much would your loss be? How much would your loss be? My loss would
My
be
loss would
£2
be
million.
two million pounds.
Wait, does your watch generally gain or lose time, or does it keep perfect time? Does your watch generally gain or lose time, or does it keep perfect time? My watch generally
My watch generally, I was
keep
generally
perfect time.
give the
Keep
perfect time,
keep perfect time.
keep perfect time.
Very good. What's the best way to gain friends? What's the best way to gain friends? The best way
The
to
best
gain
way to
friends
gain
is to be
friends
nice
is
to
to be
people.
nice people.
Very good. How long does it take the average student to gain a degree at university in your country? How long does it take the average student to gain a degree at university in your country? It takes
It
the
takes
average
the
student
average student
about
about 4 years
to gain a degree
to gain a
at
degree
university
at the
in my
university
country.
in my country.
As regards learning a language, would you gain anything by going to the country where it was spoken? As regards learning a language, would you gain anything by going to the country where it was spoken? Yes. As
Yes,
regards
as
learning a
regards
language,
learning a
I'd
language,
gain something
I'd gain
by
something
going to the
by
country
going to the country
where it was spoken.
where it was spoken,
Why? Why? Because I'd be able
because
to speak
I'd be
the
able to
language every
speak the
day.
language every day.
Very good. Are there any marks on these walls? Are there any marks on these walls? Yes or no?
Yes,
There
there
are some
are
marks
some
on
marks
that wall.
on that wall.
What kind of marks are they? What kind of marks are they? They're native camp
There are
marks.
any camp marks.
Very good. Who marked your dictations? Who marked your dictations? I marked my
I mark
dictations
my
myself.
dictations myself.
How many marks did you get in your last English exam? How many marks did you get in your last English exam? I got
I got
100 marks
100
out
marks
of 100
out of 100
in my last
in
English
my last
exam.
English exam.
Which petrol company do you think has the most well-known trademark? Which petrol company do you think has the most well-known trademark? I think Shell
I think
has
Shell
the most
has the
well-known
most
trademark.
well-known trademark.
Very good. Okay, next. What part of the book is this? What part of the book is this? It's the bottom
It's at the
or the
bottom
base
for
of
the
the book.
base of the book.
What do you consider to be the basis of a good life? What do you consider to be the basis of a good life? I consider
I consider I consider
good health
good health
to be the basis
to be the basis
of a
of
good life.
a good life.
Megan, is it normal for language learners to continue making basic grammatical mistakes even though they know the rules? Is it normal for language learners to continue making basic grammatical mistakes even though they know the rules? Yes, it's
Yes,
normal
it's
for
normal
language
for
learners
language
to
learners
continue
to
making
continue making
basic grammatical
basic
mistakes
grammatical mistakes
even though they know the
even
rules.
though they know rules.
Very good. What do you think is basically the difference between your own language and English? What do you think is basically the difference between your own language and English? I think that
I think that
basically The difference
Basically,
between
the difference
my
between
own
my
language
own
and
language
English is
and English is grammar.
grammar. Very good. When you stay at a hotel for one night, does the price you pay usually include breakfast? When you stay at a hotel for one night, does the price you pay usually include breakfast? Yes or no?
Yes,
When you stay at
when
a
you stay
hotel
at a
for
hotel
one night,
for one
the
night,
price you pay
the price you pay
usually includes
usually
breakfast.
includes breakfast.
Very good. What do we use to clean our shoes with? What do we use to clean our shoes with? We use a
We
shoe
use
brush
a shoe
to
brush
clean our
to
shoes
clean
with.
our shoes with.
Well, what other kinds of brushes are there? What other kinds of brushes are there? There are hair
That
brushes,
there are hairbrushes,
toothbrushes, paint
toothbrushes,
brushes,
toothbrushes,
paint brushes, etc.
paint brushes, etc.
Very good. Do you like to watch boxing? Do you like to watch boxing? Yes or no?
No,
I
I
don't
don't.
like
I don't like
to watch
to
boxing.
watch boxing
Why not? Why not? Because
because I can't understand the rules.
okay, very good. Just hit someone again. What type of film do you watch most? What type of film do you watch most? I watch
I watch about the comedies
the most.
the most.
Can you type? Can you type? Yes or no?
Yes,
I
I
can
can
type.
type
How many words a minute? How many words a minute? About 60
about
words a
60
minute.
words a minute.
Very good. Have you met me on many previous occasions? Have you met me on any previous occasions? Yes, I've met
Yes,
you
I've met you
on many
on
previous
many
occasions.
previous occasions.
Very good. Did you have any previous experience of the Callan method before you came here? Did you have any previous experience of the Callan method before you came here? Yes or no?
No,
I
I
didn't have
I didn't have
any previous
any
experience
previous
of
experience
the Callan method
of the Callan method
before I came here.
before I came here.
Very good. Why do people often make videos of special occasions like weddings? Why do people often make videos of special occasions like weddings? People often make
People often
videos
make
of special
videos of
occasions
special
like
occasions
weddings
like
so that
weddings
they
so
can
that
remember
they
them
can
better.
remember them better.
Very good. And that's the end of our revision. Let's
Okay,
have new word. Okay, so let's start. Okay, repeat. Plan,
plant,
interfere,
interfere,
interference.
interference.
Very good. Okay, listen. The word plan could be a noun and a verb. As a noun, it means a drawing similar to a map showing roads, towns, and buildings. For example, by a street plan of a town, we mean a map showing the streets of a town and their names. As a verb, it means to prepare in advance. For example, I think it's a good idea for teenagers to plan their future while still at school. Interfere is a verb. It means to involve yourself in a situation where you are not wanted or needed. For example, we should not interfere in other people's lives. We should mind our own business. Interference is a noun of the verb interfere. For example, I don't think a young person should be allowed to plan their own future without the interference of their parents because they're too young to plan their future alone. Let's practice. What do we mean by a street plan of a town? What do we mean by a street plan of a town? By a street plan
By a
of a
street plan
town,
of a
we
town,
mean a map
we mean a map
showing the streets
showing the
of the
street
town
of the town
and their names.
and their names.
Do you usually write your plans in a diary? Do you usually write your plans in a diary? Yes or no?
Yes,
I
I
usually
usually
write my
write
plans
my
in a
plans
diary.
in a diary.
Wait, do you think it's a good idea for teenagers to plan their future while still at school? Do you think it's a good idea for teenagers to plan their future while still at school? Yes or no?
Yes,
I think it's a
I
good
think
idea
it's a good
for
idea
teenagers
for
to plan
teenagers
their
to
futures
plan their
while
futures
still at school.
while still at school
Very good. Why? Why do you think so? Because
because
they will
they
have they will
they will
have
have
longer time to plan.
longer time to plan.
Very good. Next, do you think a young person should be allowed to plan their own future without the interference of their parents? Do you think a young person should be allowed to plan their own future without the interference of their parents? Yes or no?
No, I
I
don't.
don't think a
I
young
don't
person
think a young
should
person
be allowed
should be
to plan their
to plan
one more.
their.
No, I don't think
No, I don't
a young
think
person
a young
should
person
be allowed
should be
to
allowed
plan their
to
own
plan
future
their own future
without the
without the
interference of their
interference
parents.
of their parents
Why not? Why not? Because
because they are
too
uh,
young
too young
to plan their future
to plan
alone.
their future alone.
Very good. Next, repeat strange looking.
Strange looking.
Very good. Okay, listen. Strange looking is an adjective which means something that looks strange or unusual and is different from others. For example, deserts create many strange looking landforms. Okay, next let's have the two types of auxiliary verb. Okay,
Uh, two,
yeah, two types.
two, two types auxiliary verb.
Very good. Okay, let's repeat primary,
Primary,
model.
model,
Very good. So that was model. It's read as model, like the model fashion show. Okay, listen. Now let's have the two types of auxiliary verb, primary and model. Listen. English has two basic types of auxiliary verb, the primary auxiliaries and the model auxiliaries. Okay, let's practice. What are the two basic types of auxiliary verb in English? What are the two basic types of auxiliary verb in English? The two basic
the
types
two basic
of
types
auxiliary
of
verb
auxiliary
in
verb
English
in
are
English are
primary auxiliaries
primary and primary auxiliaries
and modal
and
auxiliaries.
modal auxiliaries.
Very good. Okay, next listen. There are three primary auxiliaries, be, have, and do. We use them to make basic verb structures. Let's practice. What are the primary auxiliaries? What are the primary auxiliaries? The primary
The
auxiliaries
primary
are the
auxiliaries
verbs be,
are the verbs these
have, and do.
have and do.
Very good. Okay, next listen. We use the auxiliary be to make the continuous tenses. For example, we say, I am speaking English now. We also use it for passive voice. For example, when we say, this book was printed in England. Okay, let's practice. When do we use the auxiliary be? When do we use the auxiliary be? We use
We
the
use
auxiliary
the
be
auxiliary
to
we
make the
to
continuous
make the
tenses
continuous
and the
tenses
passive voice.
and the passive voice.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. I am speaking
I am
English now.
speaking English now.
This book was printed. This book was
This
printed
book was printed
in England.
in England.
Very good. Next, listen. We use auxiliary have for the perfect tenses. For example, we say he has gone to Scotland. Let's practice. When do we use the auxiliary have? When do we use the auxiliary have? We use
We
the
use
auxiliary
the
have
auxiliary have
for the perfect
for the
tenses.
perfect tenses.
Very good. Give me an example. Give me an example, please. He has gone
He
to
has gone
Scotland.
to Scotland.
Very good. Okay, next. We use the auxiliary do for the present simple and past simple. For example, when we say I don't speak English and did she eat the pasta? Okay, let's practice. When do we use the auxiliary do? When do we use the auxiliary do? We use
We
the
use
auxiliary
the
do
auxiliary
for the
do
present
for
simple
the present
and
simple
past simple.
and passive.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. I don't speak
I don't
Spanish.
speak and I don't speak Spanish.
Did she eat the
Did
pasta?
she eat the pasta?
Very good. Okay, next listen. There are 10 common models: can, could, will, would, may, might, shall, should, must, and ought. Models normally express ideas about necessity or possibility. Okay, let's practice. What are the 10 common models? What are the 10 common models? The 10 common
The 10
models
common
are
models
can,
are
could,
can,
will,
could,
would,
will,
may,
would,
might,
may,
shall,
might,
should,
shall, should,
must, and ought.
must, and ought.
Very good. What ideas do models normally express? What ideas do models normally express? Models.
Models normally express
ideas about
ideas
necessity
about necessity
or possibility.
or possibility.
Very education knowledge. Move on to reading.
Okay.
Okay, so our reading is at stage 5, paragraph page 367. Last headword was point at. Okay, start with the fourth question. Point out the mistake in this sentence, please.
Okay. Point at point.
Point out the mistake.
Ah, okay, I can see. A point